call this meeting to order. First order of business, welcome to guests and anybody who wants to make a public comment.
Yes.
You bet, come on up. After you sign in, evidently.
Thank you.
So mine's just gonna be a small statement.
Okay?
I'm gonna read it verbatim. Say that approved. So good morning, community members, board members, and everyone present. My name is Ernesto Madrid. I am the Ranch and Border Community Liaison from the Clint Border Patrol Station.
Ernesto Madrid, okay.
Yes, sir.
Nice to meet you.
I would like to inform everyone that we will have military personnel from the National Guard assisting the Clint Border Patrol within our AOR, primarily along the U.S.-Mexico border starting around April 19, 2025. The National Guard will be driving our marked Border Patrol vehicles, and you may see them at the local stores within the community purchasing drinks or food items. Please welcome them to the community, and if there are any questions, myself and Border Patrol agent in charge, Mr. Juan Jimenez from the Clint Border Patrol Station will address. Hopefully, we get invited to the Ranchers Farmers meeting to be scheduled in the near future by this board, encompassing the release of water scheduled for June 1st. If there are any other questions relating to other matters or any other questions to anything else, these will be addressed there as well. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ernesto, let me ask you one perspective.
Yes, sir.
The Clint office, where do y'all extend to? Going down the river?
RAR up to Hudspeth County?
Up to
Pretty
Hudspeth
much-
County, so your Clint office now.
Yes, pretty much the county line.
So they don't call it a Fabian's office anymore, where?
No, we were at Fabian's.
Yeah, but
years-
this is y'all right here.
Right here, we're neighbors.
But you still go down to the county line?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, and then this way?
This way to Isleda's area, right at the
To
Pompas
Isleta.
Colonia, that's
Okay.
where us and Isleta, that's where we kind of merge at the Pompas Colonia.
Okay,
Um,
and below in Hudspeth is what, Fort Hancock? They still call it Fort Hancock?
yes, Fort Hancock on that area.
Unit or whatever?
Pretty
Okay.
much off of BSI marker 80, pretty much, so it's right at the county line.
Okay,
And then over here, the Colonia,
okay,
the Colonia area, Pompas Colonia.
very good. Thank you.
And I'd like to mention, we're working with Mr. Madrid on submitting an application on placing a surveillance, a tower or whatnot, so we're working with him, find the best location that suits both parties or all parties, and so we're working through that as well.
Wow, okay.
So these towers are coming, just since we're touching on the subject, it is a future, an infrastructure that's coming. Hancock already has some along Texas 20, I don't know if you guys have seen them. These towers that run 30 feet high,
Oh, yeah,
they monitor, they're always
They're temporary.
24/7, right?
Yeah.
Well, they're there pretty much to stay.
oh, they're gonna
So-
stay there now?
Right, every station's supposed to get a certain number over the years.
There's one right over the county line lakes, is that what you're talking about? On
That's ours, so the one that sits on top of the county lake,
Mhm.
we got that approved through Hudspeth County.
So that's y'all?
That's ours, that's the
Oh.
first one we got for Clint,
Okay.
and then we're getting more in the future, and this is where we're looking at locations, so that we can all still work together and doing our jobs.
Okay, very good. And you don't go through our fields if they're wet? And don't go through that during harvest time, right?
You got it.
Just remind me.
Don't go through with all.
Just be sure, tell those guys. Okay,
So are we gonna, if we got any complaints, we're gonna go, if we got any complaints, do we go to you? I mean, what he's talking about?
Right, and I mean, everyone still
Okay.
has the number to the station, right?
Yeah.
Right,
So,
but I mean, like, you're gonna have the National Guard, there are more traffic and going through back and forth. If we have issues, we
yes.
direct everything to you?
No, like I said, the National Guard's they're primarily gonna be at the gates, so you shouldn't be seeing them around anybody's orchard or what have you, right? That's where we will come in, they're just there to assist.
okay,
Yeah, cause I got a orchard right next to the gate,
okay,
Okay.
that's why I'm asking.
yeah, okay.
All right,
And you said they're gonna be riding along in your vehicles?
No,
They're-
yes, they'll be paired up in our marked vehicles.
Oh,
But there's some unmarked too.
Right, there'll be some in unmarked, right.
Okay, Ernesto, right?
Yes, sir.
And your last name again?
Madrid?
Good. Okay. All right, thank you. Anybody else wants to comment? You want? Robert, you got,
They gave me heads up on my water again, which is a good thing.
is that a good thing?
Yes, it is, for me.
Well, Ricky's right there in front of you there.
Yeah, I see, that's why I do it out there.
One more, just kind of poke a little bit.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, item 1, 2, and 3, let's go to the minutes of March 12th. Everybody happy with that? Anybody see anything?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, Jared made a motion to approve, Mike seconded, all in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign. Okay. All right, next, let's go. Lisa,
Yes, sir, good morning.
good morning.
I've presented you with the organizational chart for you to look at and review and approve today.
Yeah. What did I do with that?
Is this the same as it was last year? In your. Sure, the same
Oh,
as
it's
last
already
year.
in there?
No, there's some, okay, it's in your packet. Mr. Ray.
Right behind me.
Yeah. Okay, we need to approve this,
What are the differences from last year? It looked like it was the same, but.
well, we just decided Lisa wasn't doing enough, so we gave her more chores, so.
Oh, well, then I can.
And she is the chief administrative officer, so we moved tax assessor over under her, whereas before it was under general manager. And then the other thing, we put parts runners, if you notice, under maintenance manager, where it always was, where we also put it over here under chief financial officer, because Mary has to approve all those things.
Same with the warehouse specialist?
And then,
Both of them.
yeah, the warehouse specialist, where was it?
The same role.
It's on the same row.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
But that was already there.
I was trying to think, was that there? or
It was
that-
under maintenance.
It was under maintenance. So we moved it over again.
We
So
have
that
them both.
Mary has some control over
Checks and balances.
the monies going out, right?
Yes, it's just a checks and balances.
Okay, so it's not too, it wasn't a drastic thing or anything, but I do need a motion, correct, to approve this flow chart.
I have a comment though,
Okay.
on this. Given the fact that I've been here maybe about a couple of years, maybe times 5 or whatever. We used to have the general manager, and then everybody reported to him except, let's say, the CFO. And that's fine, it kind of worked, but it bottlenecked with general manager, which is fine as well, but at the end of the day, I just want us to be cognizant of the fact that now that we have a new structure, everything reports to the board, okay? Now, as it reports to the board in a process, because it really reports, if you need something done right away, it reports to the executive committee. So, that executive committee makes a decision.
Right.
And I just wanna make sure, us sitting at the board, Jared, and all the ones that are not on the executive committee, that are updated in real time as it happens. Because I don't want us to find out, because basically I'm gonna hold, as an elected official, hold the executive committee accountable for anything that's happening at this level. Okay, so those are the concerns I have, that the executive committee has taken up that responsibility, because he was used to be the general managers, you know, he does everything and so forth. But that also comes with its pitfalls. I just want us to be aware that executive committee is taking the responsibility of being responsible for everything going through you guys. Am I?
Well, yes,
So, because you reported to the
to
board.
begin with, but like on something like this decision needs to be made by the full board, and Mike, we've always had Al Blair or whoever our district, he's always been assigned. Legal counsel has always been assigned. What we added was a chief financial officer, because if you remember of a previous manager, maybe we decided it was best to make her reporting straight to the board. So that's why those 3 things. And then Lisa, again, think about our previous past, and we wanted her answering straight to the board. So I consider it to the board. You are correct, there is an executive committee, and that consists of myself and Larry, that will run it by, and if it's an emergency, we might make a decision. We still have to come to y'all as a full board.
Okay. No, that's fine. I just want to-
We don't make a final decision until we get it approved.
Right. That's the part that I want to make sure that's.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I move to approve.
Okay, all right, Mike approves of the new organizational chart. Larry seconds, all in favor signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Okey-dokey.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you. As far as Mary's presentation? I
Oh,
know
let's
that's
go
next.
to Mary's. Mary is very sick, she's had gallstones, and they had to do surgery. Or she didn't want me to tell people that, probably, well, anyway, she's at home recovering.
It's public information.
Anyway, she's at home recovering, but she did work enough to give us our quarterly report. Now, we can look at the monthly report that she has for us. She won't be here to answer any questions. I think Lisa and Al are both there, and I see
Jane.
Maria's made it on too, and Renee. Maria had not been able to get on because she had internet problems, believe it or not. That's something that happens in Tornillo, Maria. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, good morning. I'm on my phone now, but our internet just came back up, so I'll be joining full-fledged in just a bit. Sorry
Okay,
I'm
well,
late.
good to have you. So,
Wait, did you, as far as the $1,000 report also, I believe we could go over.
sure. So actually, let's start at the beginning. We got
Okay.
that county department report, it's page 1. Anybody see anything? And right behind it, you got your balance sheet. Now, Mary's looked at all these, and so we can't ask her a question, but if y'all see anything, we can sure try and find out or drill down and figure out what's going on. Or we'll hold Lisa and make her do it. Make her do it, right? Then you see there, we've got, approximately between the general fund and the money market and the investments, we're somewhere around 15.8, which is not a big change from last month. Anything on the balance sheet, gentlemen? And if not, let's go to the $1,000 report. I know there'll be some questions there. I have one. Item 6 on the $1,000 check report. Comprehensive strength test for Island Main project, $12,400. Is that, Pete, are you gonna answer that one, or?
That's, yeah, that's
Jay?
so that's testing for.
Is that misstated there? It was
No,
Strength
no,
test for Island Main.
so for every project, and it's standard practice to have a lab, test the concrete to make sure it reaches a compressive strength that we're purchasing for one, and the slump test and air entrainment. So there's a concrete mix design that we put forth that's batched from the plant. So this is the third party, I guess, if you will, lab that the district hires. The concrete company has their own testing. So we, and for
Verify
grants
it.
and whatnot, we need to provide our lab reports from an official accredited lab.
Okay.
So yes, and that's to make sure, and that we do, so at 28 days, the concrete should be at full strength, which is 4,000 PSI. So we do a 3, 7, 228 days, and 156 days, so we get 5 cores.
They actually have to core it.
Yes, oh yeah, they take
So,
samples and
and
they
then they'll take it to their lab.
put them in a lab.
So that's
and-
why the cost, because to me, look, the one above it too, you got 15,000 just to, making sure we're okay.
It's,
Right? That would have paid for another 70 yards. of
and
concrete.
for shotcrete, it's a little different than the standard concrete is a little bit cheaper, as the cores are they're cylinders,
Mhm.
and these are 1 by 1 foot by 1 foot square blocks. So it's tested a little bit different than shotcrete,
Wow.
but yes, They
Okay.
have gone up in price, unfortunately, but, yeah, so we do have all the documentation in case, they, there's a question with the concrete, or it's not meeting the strength, or it's not a good product.
Is that how we
That's
determine
that's
that?
not a single test, that's a test.
No, I
that's
know,
many
it's for the
tests.
whole
That's
thing.
how many
For
tests.
the project or for the
Yeah.
certain phase or whatever.
Yeah.
For the,
I would put it into context, maybe you can light me a little bit. The context is it a grant or is it not a grant?
this is not a grant,
Okay.
it's,
Which is fine. The last thing you want is to, obviously, it's cost more money to tear it out. And then you don't know if the concrete's any good until it breaks or whatever, and fractures, which is a year, 2 years, 3 years later, if you didn't test it. So this is like a on the fly, within 28 days, you know it's bad. You address the concrete mix company, wherever the company is, and then they have insurances, whatever, and then they tear it up, or they don't, or they compensate, whatever it is, but you address it right away.
exactly.
So, in my opinion, I mean, this is money well spent to ensure that. I'm assuming.
It's an independent third party, exactly, and if we need to present any evidence that the concrete is failing in any way, shape, or
Then
form.
you get somebody,
Because
yeah.
the concrete company has their own testing and their own results, and we need to make sure that we do our independent study, so,
Okay.
Is that what happened on the Montoya?
Yes.
They had to remove it?
yes, yeah. So we had,
They installed it, and then they determined it was bad.
well, we had our brakes, and it wasn't braking correctly, and the mix, it was shrinking to, the water was not, there was multiple things.
But then they took it out, with their dime, right?
We negotiated with the supplier and, we came to a resolution on supply and removal.
Okay. So this is a good thing, it's just expensive, like so many other things. Okay.
It's-
One thing I'd like to add, Art, is, this is a daily testing, so it's just not one test.
Okay.
Yes.
They're getting samples daily, so every day they get a sample.
Every truck.
Well, you're doing so much daily,
Yes,
that makes sense.
We
and
get
I
one
was-
sample per day.
I was thinking it was a good thing, except I was just stunned at the price of it, that's all.
Yeah.
But,
We do about 50 yards, 50 to 70 yards, per test, so, basically 5 to 7 trucks.
Yeah.
And
it's like a slump test though, as you're doing that work, they go ahead and put it in their little,
The little cone, yeah,
their
so
little cone,
there's
and
a
they're
slump,
ready to go.
air
Okay.
entrainment, the temperature.
Yeah.
There's, as Dr. Bird mentioned, yeah, there's various tests that come
That
with
they're
it.
doing.
And obviously, they do the reporting, they send the 3-day break report, 7-day, the
Yeah.
28, and the 56.
And to Mike's point, we don't wanna do it ourselves if we find
Right,
it.
and
So-
we got something in place in case it fails? I
Yes,
mean,
we address it, we can tell, that's why we have a 3-day break, there's certain percentage should be at 3 and 7-day, and we can certainly
I
bring it
mean,
to their
we got
attention.
something in place with the companies that we're purchasing it from?
Yes, yes.
Okay, in case something happens.
Okay, back to that $1,000 check report.
I got a question probably for Pete, I guess. What's the 60 yards, 69 yards, and 70, is that, how many loads is that?
Which line is that?
The 7 through 13.
Oh, yeah,
How
that's,
many's on a truck nowadays?
well, we're doing 6 trucks a day.
Nice.
60 yards is six
That's
trucks.
truck.
Yeah, we were doing
Whole
60 yards
means
daily.
nothing anymore.
No, they're 10-yard trucks,
10-yard
but we're
trucks.
doing 6 trucks a day.
Gotcha, okay.
Sometimes,
Is the number on the 72, I guess? Are we still having problems with our air conditioning?
Yes, but, so, we're in year 16 at this building, the Daikin units. I looked on their webpage and talked to the Daikin rep, and they are 15-year lifespan. We've got 5 condensers out here that have 5 condensers that have 2 compressors each, first stage and second stage. So this was the 3rd one that we've had to replace. There's 2 that are still going, so, but
So we were replacing as we go? No,
Yes.
last time they broke and we fixed it and whenever we replaced it,
We
and then
got
this is
new
another
ones.
batch of.
so,
Do we have any more batches to replace?
I'm sorry?
Do we have any more condensers that we have to replace in this building?
Yes, so there's 5 sitting out here, we've done 3, and as they fail, we're
Yeah,
replacing
I
them. They have surpassed the 15-year, and the first one gave out at 15 years, so I guess they're well aware of the product. but the other two are still going, and I mean, they serve their purpose very well. The efficiency is amazing, you know, because it's all electric, this building.
Was it state of the art at the time? I mean, when
Yes.
they first came out?
We were the
that's what we
second
were told.
building in El Paso to have this, the hotel downtown, so the installation, so it was very new to the market,
Yeah.
but, they're pretty popular nowadays. Mitsubishi's got another product the same, but, so we're just replacing them as they fail, this was the third one, we still got two more, and we do have a spreadsheet and a ledger tracking the amount, you know, obviously, the third one costs more than the first ones and whatnot, but, we are keeping track of it, and hopefully we get a few more years out of the ones that are still going on.
Well, it sounds like they at least made their expected lifetime, 15, that's pretty good.
Correct.
My air conditioners don't always, they tell me something like 7, 8 years, and it's always about year 5 or 6. Seems like.
And these are commercial, you know, so
Yeah,
they're
so that's pretty good.
constantly going full speed, so.
Line 32, I just, again, it's probably, I'll quit asking this when I get used to these prices. I'm just, GPS renewal for 80 trucks. That's a yearly renewal,
Correct.
and it's like a contract where they'll monitor those, or check do they check the GPS? or-
We do, we have
We
the our supervisors, all the
And that's
managers.
just the cost of doing the business,
Monitoring, and there's some installation, I guess, this is just a renewal for the.
Yes, this is the renewal for the 80 units.
For using
the
service,
80
yeah.
units.
okay.
And typically, when we get new trucks, we'll transfer the units to the new trucks,
All right,
That's fair.
we'll do that in-house.
fairly, it's 180
$180
trucks.
bucks, but yeah, like, mine's about 300.
Oh,
So
it
this
is?
is
So
okay
it's
then.
all right. Wonderful.
On this diesel, I see we're using Fabian's oil a lot. Okay. Now Fabian's oil's got the capacity of bringing a tanker in. Have we looked into that?
Yes, and we are going, this is the second year, I guess, we want to propose this for the next budget. We have a 4,000 gallon tank is what we've got today. A tanker 7,500 gallons.
7,500, yeah.
We have been, Pete and I have been, and Dr. Blair have been talking to DH Underground on, and they provided the estimates to get a 15,000 gallon tank, two 7,500 gallons. So we can get, really diesel, gasoline is a little, it's very valuable and the insurance is expensive. But, so we can bring in a transport directly, two transports, 7,500. So we do have that in the works. Obviously, we've got a few projects that we had been working on in the phone system and,
Payroll,
yeah, great.
payroll.
Payroll, yeah, software. So
Software.
but this, we're gonna present this to you for this next fiscal. As far as trying to get the new tanks and the installation and have the ability to just have the fuel delivered directly from the supplier, either, you know, in town, the refinery or Pagans, whoever, I mean, they can all
Yeah,
quote
whoever
height
does
and
it.
whatnot. And I
Yeah.
think it'll be, it's bulk and it should be, we should save some money there.
Well, I would tell you to, because the tanker's 7,500, I would tell you to go bigger, because you never, so I do that, I got two 10,000 gallons, and you never run it empty, so that way, you know, if you,
Okay.
I would
so
go two tens.
Okay.
That way you always have, you don't have to wait till it's completely empty to call
Yeah.
for the deal.
Yeah, you're right.
Just
That
those
way,
things, yeah.
because, yeah, we'll have to empty it completely and pick up everything at the bottom and change the filter off, then, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, yeah, that's a good.
It's amazing when you're running all those units, how fast that 10,000 tank will get empty.
Item 71, for the, are we due for a replacement or upgrade to our servers?
Yes.
Yes.
This is the, what, the same thing as the air conditioning system?
Yes, I think it was 10 years, I think the server that we've got. And we purchased this, these are on multiple months back order. So they just came in.
Yeah, just kidding.
So yes, we will be upgrading to make sure we don't have a failed server and, but you know, we're doing the backups and everything.
Doing the
but-
backup.
But yes, it was planned for a new one, so we'll be installing that. We just received it a week or two ago.
Is this going up to the cloud as well? I mean,
Yes.
backup from the
Everything,
cloud and
yeah.
all that kind of stuff?
Correct.
Very good. Anybody else? Credit card report, okay.
Pete gave Robert a deal run for his money on these big expenses.
Yeah, he is, look at that. Okay,
Legal and.
legal and consulting, we got Renee and Maria on the, so don't say anything bad about it, just, that's what's happening, it's not cheap,
No.
but we have to keep going. All right, under tab D, we do have our quarterly investment report that she needs to file with TCEQ, I believe.
Yes, this we do need.
And Mary did sign this. Y'all look at it, you can see we didn't add any new T-bills or CD investments. The CD we did have is up there in the top right-hand corner. Your interest rate at the end of each 3 months, so you see the new total. And then it's showing what rate we're getting, et cetera, et cetera. And then on that next line where it says bank, shows our checking, money market. You see the money market, what it's paying, $4.29. And that middle one is the dewatering, but
Escrow.
money that's being done, escrow. Okay, that looks good to me. Does anybody have any questions on it? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the quarterly investment report.
Make a motion to approve.
Jared made the motion, Larry second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed, same sign. Hey, hey,
Thank you.
all right.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. And Rose,
Wish I could have this one. 'Cause it's not-
remember, staying close to that mic, Rose.
Well, I turned it off because it's still getting
Turned it
a
off?
feed.
Okay.
Sorry, she's gonna need to speak up.
Then yell at us.
Good morning.
Good morning. No, that's good, we agree.
So our first report is our accounts receivable summary, and then we have our tax adjustments.
Okay.
Our tax adjustments, there were 7, totaling $40.53.
With grand total, yeah.
Yes.
All right, I hear a motion to approve these adjustments, don't we?
No questions?
No, no questions.
Move to approve.
All right, Mike made a motion to approve, George seconded, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed, same sign. Okay, Rose, thank you.
Thank you. Our next report is an update on the El Paso Water Utility, known as El Paso Water, Lower Valley Water District, and tax suits. And I just want to point out on the tax suits, it was 0. At the time this report was being prepared, we didn't have an update at that time, but it will be reflected on next month.
That's the first time I've seen 0 in a while, it's been going down.
Yeah, that's,
Nice.
it's just the days that we fell in the month.
Okay. Okay.
Our next report is a comparison between the 2023 and 2024 tax assessment. Last year, April 24, we were at 94.9755%, right now at 94.677.
So last year, yeah, we're a little behind
A
last
little
year.
bit high.
We'd been a little bit ahead. So,
We have to, very true.
oh,
And we got notices going out next month,
okay.
the property owners.
Well, I noticed we still had, 67,000 came in last month, right? Is that what I read there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And last year it was 99.
99,000.
Must have had more water last year.
Mhm.
I think that's what that means. Okay.
And that's all I have.
Well, Rose, thank you very much.
Thank you.
As always, thank you. Doing a great job. Thanks.
Thanks, Rose.
Thank you, Rose. You and Sonia are doing good. All right, general managers reports.
So we've got the date for the compact meeting, 25th in Alamosa. The reception on.
Is that Thursday?
So, yeah, just wanted to bring it to y'all, and, so for attendance and so we get with Lisa and we can.
Yeah. So if you guys wanna go up there to the Alamosa thing, that's pretty good. Support our commissioner and you get to hear all that stuff and
You
you
have an
have.
international air program?
No.
There's a strip right there.
No, they have these little things that you drive with gasoline and you.
Oh, my
steer
God,
like
7
this.
hours.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
It's a beautiful view though, beautiful scenery.
Yeah,
right?
been up there a lot. You can get to go through Santa Fe.
Love it.
If you want. That's the way I always do. Okay, just so that y'all know. Now, Jay, what about and everybody get ahold of Lisa about that, so she can get you rooms and stuff
Yeah,
like
as soon as
that.
possible, if you could, that way we get a better rate.
Farmers meeting.
The farmers, so I was gonna ask maybe if we could just hear Dr. Blair's and Enrique's on the water situation, and then we can come back to this, if that's okay?
Okay, sure.
But we wanna set a date for the farmers, everybody's asking.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
Well, let's hear what they have to say then. Good.
Yeah,
And look, your thing's right there too. Okay, Al, we're gonna turn you loose. Or wait a minute, or do we wanna go, you wanna have
is it,
Enrique, or you wanna?
You're muted, Dr. Blair.
yeah, I'm muted. It is, yeah, no, it's L's and then Enrique.
Okay.
Usually Al starts and then we'll go back.
Yeah, you're muted, Dr. Blair.
Al, you're
Yeah,
still
can you see
muted.
that?
There you go.
You wanna share the screen with them, Jay?
Yes, let me,
Only if it's good news.
of course it is.
No, it's not good.
You guys see that?
Yeah. 240, 298, 258.
Yeah, it has, we haven't made much progress since, February, since or last month. So we're up a little bit, looking at, 258, and I will talk about previous years that we released about that much, so I'll show you what that means here in a minute. But this is the inflow from Elephant Butte, and this is not it's not the type of curve you wanna see. So really, in the last 3 weeks or 2 weeks, the inflow has plummeted. And all projections are that the river may even dry up here shortly, which is, it's not that it hasn't happened before, but it's a really bad sign. So we don't expect much inflow between now and the release time. So keep that in mind. Snow water equivalent has gone down. Again, Rio Chama's probably the most critical basin, and it's not looking very good. 43% is, remember, we want these numbers to be above 100 to get a normal release, and so they're all well below. And as you get understanding on percentages, as you get down, below 50%, that generally means that there isn't enough water just to meet the losses in the river. And so this is bad news. That's just another way of looking at it. This is Wolf Creek, and so you can see that it's been very unproductive. We had one event and then a little bit here recently.
It wasn't like we had a blockbuster last year.
Yeah, we actually had a snow melt, an early snow melt. You can see that in this chart where the amount of snow water equivalent went down about a week ago, and then it's come back up since then. This is Upper Rio Grande. Again, it's it's the equivalent of all the gauges up there to the one we saw before, so it looks a little bit better. but not significantly different than the Wolf Creek site. NRCS, you have to be very careful with these forecasts. They're forecasting zero inflow, at 50% chance.
Zero.
I don't think that that'll be true. There'll probably be one or more events that hopefully we get a little bit of water into it, but for practical purposes, it'll be almost zero. So I guess that's correct this year. So we want to look at a year. Here we are. We're a little bit better off than some of our bad years. We had a good year last year, so this is a pattern we're looking. Phil and I are looking to figure out what's going to happen this year. We're in the middle of those discussions. We just remember April's the first time that we have reliable information to make determinations. I'm not going to ask. We haven't made an allocation yet. We're still processing this. If you guys want to make an allocation, we can actually move it up a little because we don't think, in my discussions with them, we don't think there's going to be any significant changes between now and June 1st. So we could go ahead and start that process. And if we're going to have a meeting with the farmers, we might want to do that. And then Enrique have to get together. We can do some of that today. We probably need to schedule a special board meeting to make the allocation if you want to move it up, or just wait till May. And I'll let
Can we just wait till,
guys.
yeah, I think my preference would be to wait till May anyway, but we need to still have the meeting and we can tell everybody it's gonna be June. There's no water.
Yeah, no, our release date hasn't changed. I haven't talked to Enrique about it today, but this indications that we're still on. We'll talk about the actual date that we would start the release. It may be, because we typically start on a Friday, it might be May 30th. But I've got to coordinate that with EPCWID. So, what I'm telling you now is the process has started, and there's a lot of work for me and Phil and Enrique and James to do. If you want us to do it, we're going to start part of that anyways, because the analytical stuff we have to do. But if you want us to get ready to make a number, we can. But it's what I'm hearing right now, we'll discuss it all together, is that, let's just let it, like we've always done, let's wait till the May meeting to actually have you guys make that.
Yeah.
That means we'll go into the farmers meeting without an official, but you guys remember, we can only allocate what's in storage. And what I'm telling you right now is that that number doesn't appear to be going to change between now and June. So that's the conclusion from today. The sequence that we're debating or we're using, right now I'm using the 2020-21 sequence. There's a little more water to release, so that's good. But we also released a lot of water, more water during the year before. The river responds in a 2-year pattern generally. So you got to look at what happened the year before, and this is one of the other things we look at is the 2018-2019. 2019, we had about the same amount of water to release, and similar previous year, 2018. We got a lot of runoff that was a big snow year, so we got a lot of water that didn't come in until late, so we were able to release a lot more than we predicted. But early in the year, we had a low allocation, and we increased it over time. So we're looking through all those scenarios. There's one other curve that I need to show you. Sorry, I had put that into the PowerPoint yet. I'm gonna stop share for just a minute. And we'll put all this together for the farmers meeting too, obviously. We'll go into a little more detail on the snow. So this graph that I'm going to show you here, we haven't had to use this graph for a while, so that's why I didn't quite have it ready. It takes quite a bit of work to get ready. Let me share that.
Oh, yeah.
So this is what's called a vector diagram. So we take, from 1986 to 2024, we've taken every year at Wolf Creek, and we plot it up in a manner that we look and see if there's a path to get from point A to point B. Over here is October, the start of the snow season. Up here at the top is the best snow event we've ever had. And we look at this and it takes, you have to have a little bit of training to be able to do it, to figure out, you might be able to see some of the patterns in here. And we're trying to say, can we get from this point, April 6th, to anything that looks good? And the answer is no.
Yeah,
It's never happened before, from 86 to 2024.
wow.
So the best we can hope for is to get someplace maybe at 80%. And even then, there's only one path out of all those years that ever did that. And most of our paths, as you can see, are going down. We got 3 paths going down and 1 going up at this location. Up here, a little bit higher than that, we have a couple more paths going up, but they don't go up that high. And so we don't have anything that says we're gonna get above normal right now. Never in the last, whatever that, 38 years or so, this is it. So, and I know I sound like doom and gloom, I'm just the messenger, okay? So, I didn't bring my flak jacket today. I guess to the farmers meeting, I might need to, but
Well,
I'll answer any questions that I could.
nothing we can
Compared to
do.
2013, is
We're a
this-
little better off than 2013, but
Are we?
pretty similar. It's a little better.
Oh,
Not much, see, I think, I was gonna ask that same thing, is that bottom line 2013? See that one that only,
Is it
the
up?
black one by itself.
yeah, the one by itself?
The flat line from May,
It says 10.
from March to May?
Yeah.
At the bottom, is that 2013?
I would have to check that. I don't know if it is, but it probably is. The deal on some of these years is it's not so much what happens out, it takes a long time to get it from the mountain down into the reservoir, but that probably is 2013. It was a low runoff year.
Okay. So with that,
Yeah.
farmers meetings, just to make sure, 'cause like Larry said, people are asking, and then they, for some reason, when I tell them, I've told a lot, they don't, in and out, But if we have an
Okay, yeah.
official meeting, yeah, go ahead.
But we gotta be real careful right now, that's why, it might even still pay to have a special meeting that's just on allocations to try to maximize this. So then again, we're just starting the coordination and me working with Enrique, coming up with just got this information in now, so everything's starting, but it's very preliminary, so we take my estimates of approximately 84,000. These are all not to be shared, and at this level isn't shareable to the general public. I mean, I know this meeting's open to the public, but I'm qualifying it. These are extremely preliminary numbers where we're just running, I guess in the scientific world, they call it scenarios. We're running different. How can we maximize the delivery to you guys? It's looking on this is pattern after 22, actually 21 and 22, and it's looking at someplace around 15 inches,
Okay.
which is considerably better than 2013. But you can't hold me to that. It may be 12 inches. I don't think it's going to be above 15.
Yeah, maybe below, but,
It may be below that. I gotta take this, and then we gotta make sure how the wells are up and get with Pete, make sure we got the production of the wells. We gotta double check the production from the sewage plants. There's a lot of double checking on all these things. I gotta get with EPCWID and schedule the timing, because we'll stay on longer than EPCWID, so I have to pay for the losses. I've gotta make an estimate of that. This is, again, using 2022 as a model. And things have changed since 22, not a whole lot, but it may be that our losses have gone up due to more pumping upstream. So this is a complicated calculation too, but this is very preliminary, and this typically level doesn't go out until you guys make the allocation. So this would become part of the farmers meeting after you make the allocation. Does that everybody understand? I know things are moving fast right now.
Well, I would think we'd have a farmer's meeting, just let them know more or less in general, tell them exactly that, Al, that we can't give them an exact amount until May. We'll do that in May. But it's not looking,
Okay, well,
yeah,
you might want to give me a week or two to coordinate,
Sure.
let Enrique get some of our coordination with the EPID done before we have a farmers meeting.
okay.
I mean, you guys, if they don't understand it's a bad year, then I guess the coffee shop message isn't getting out very well, is it? I guess.
It's not, I've been telling people, and it just goes in one ear and out the other. You know, and they say, you know, where's my water? I've been calling Enrique, you know? So.
Well, I mean, we obviously have to separate the return flow from the sewage inflow as one thing that is predictable.
Right.
And what Enrique is gonna talk to you about next after me is one thing, and what's coming up for the summer is a different. And I hope surely everybody understands that by now.
Yeah.
Can we hit it with a small, like a small minute allocation before that, just for cotton purposes? Cause I mean, people are starting to plant now. I mean, May, we've already missed the boat.
Yeah. So there's not, I'm sure I understand, Jared. So
But you know, like if
we don't have the water though until June.
I get that, but right now you're gonna plant cotton. People are gonna go plant cotton, and if we're gonna.
Only if they have a well.
Only if they have a well though, or,
Yeah,
right?
But, yeah, exactly. But you're gonna have some water to help carry you through that. That's, I didn't know if we're, you know, I know the 15 inches is a very premature just kind of deal. Can you go like, hey, 4 inches, something just like, all right, well, hey, the guy who was gonna plant nothing could possibly plant 50 acres or something. Or it's better to keep it.
Well, we're not gonna be able to have any Liberty water till June, but.
That's what I'm saying, but right now is the plant, you know, now the row crop guys have to make their decision now.
Right. Well, that's why I've been
So we
saying.
can make, we have to, there's some formal processes that have to go through. We can get those schedules. I'm getting text messages from EBAD right now. They're in the meeting. They want to start those processes, which I do too. It'd probably be, the earliest we could make an allocation for this year would be about a week from today.
And I just mean like sooner than later.
Right, but what Al's saying is we can make an allocation, but we're still not gonna release till June.
No,
Is that-
that's fine.
You
Yeah,
understand
yeah,
that?
for sure.
Oh, you wanna, okay. You think it's them hearing
Just
that
hearing them, 'cause that-
allocation is 12 inches,
But don't say that to it, cause then they'll think it's 12, you know, whatever it may be,
well,
just
that's what
where
I
they
mean,
can
but
order
we
seeds
gotta
or
say something if we make an allocation, so I don't know.
I mean, you might, the allocation we'll bring forth to you will be a rigorous allocation. We always do that. We don't allow you to make allocations. At least I don't recommend ever make an allocation and follow our procedures that we, by the way, we've had in place for, what, 70+ years.
Oh, yeah, not without going through the steps.
Go through that process and get that ready for you, and yeah, it'd be we could have a special meeting next week and you could do it at that meeting. I don't, the reason I'm okay with that is because I don't see any more water coming into the reservoir. So whatever you make, that's probably gonna be it for the year.
Wow. Okay, and that's why, we need to tell them all this on the board, if you run into them, you need to have, if you don't have a well to cover your acreage, don't plant. I mean, unless you know about the rain more than I know. Okay. Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with what Jared's suggesting, we might wanna do that, but let's give them at least a week for you guys to work that out, okay? Not that we're not busy or anything these next weeks or something.
Well, but yeah, you guys probably, at the very end of this meeting, you should make a decision if there's gonna be a special meeting and set the date for that so that we've got a target, so we can all plan for it. Okay, see, now I turn it over,
I don't know.
you only can go up. Enrique can only go upwards from what I just told you, so Enrique.
Yeah. Bring
All
us
right.
good news.
Enrique, come on.
Go get him.
Give us some better news.
I wish I could. Good morning.
Good morning.
Just numbers for return flow. As from the start of return flow to today, we've already irrigated 12,426 acres. versus 2023, we did 13,792. So we're about 10% less, so we're getting close to that number. And last week, we started receiving the water from downtown. So the American Canal has opened, so we're getting about 20 CFS next year, so it's helping.
What percentage is that, about 30% more, or 20, 15?
It was about, without it, we were about 30% less.
30% less?
Mhm.
Okay,
So it's helping.
it's helping quite a bit.
Yes. The good news is, most of the farmers have already reached their 2 inches, so we're gonna start going into maybe a second round. It won't be guaranteed, but we'll try to get everybody another round. And we will give priority to those farmers who haven't received the 2 inches. So once we see those orders coming in, we'll give priority to the farmers that haven't reached those 2 inches. And like, we've been doing it before, it's order driven. So if we're in the area, we'll try to knock everything out before we leave the canal.
Okay, well, it's been working pretty good, Ricky.
Yeah.
How much, is is there disruption going on still with that project that's upstream? With the, I think in IBWC?
So they already released, they already opened the American Canal. So we're receiving that water.
So there's no disruption now?
Not right, no.
And you were gonna have a meeting, or someone was gonna have a meeting, Jake, with, about future disruption, possible disruption during our water season. Is that got squared away?
We've had it,
Or they
we've
already
had it.
called
And the conversation and the agreement was, we're sticking to the original plan that we mentioned. You can do construction from November 1st to February 15th. They wanted the district to commit to 2026, letting them proceed through March or April, and I'm like, absolutely not.
You held firm, we held firm.
Yeah, no, so the contractor needs to do
No,
what
because
needs
I'm
to
just
be
looking at
done
it from the standpoint going.
within
next
the
year.
approved schedule. So, February 15th for next year, and then, they need to, I don't know, adjust their schedule, they need to do it as such, because, yeah, we're not gonna commit.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I appreciate that, Jim.
you bet.
Yes, and after this season, we won't give all the canal till we're done in October, once we don't have that demand anymore.
Good.
November 1st is the official date that, they could have it, so, yeah.
And right now, actively, we're just working on about 1,200 acres, and pending orders, we have 2,400 acres, which will probably go up once we start with that second round. That's all I got.
All right.
Okay,
Thanks, Enrique.
when we get the water, Enrique, are you gonna try to run it the same way you're running the return flow in areas? When we get all that allotment water? I mean, do we save plenty of water doing that?
Yes,
My question is.
yes.
That
That
way
way
we
we
don't
don't
try to run it in the same way as you're running the return flow, right?
Yes, try to knock everybody out.
You're in an area and you get the water, or you wait, right?
Yes, we wait, especially like in Unit 7, there's some farmers, we'll knock everybody out once we have the water in that canal.
Okay,
Yes, Unit 7 and Unit 6.
that's probably gonna be a future thing from now on,
Yes.
the way it looks.
It does help.
Right.
Okey-dokey. Thank you, Ricky.
Thanks, Enrique.
You want Pete, or do you want to try to set this date on this farmer's meeting?
Your choice.
Well,
Yeah.
we don't need to go into a closed session on that. Let's just try and come up with a date that we think we can tell them. Al, you said you were ready in as soon as 1 week?
Yes, that's what I'll try, but
Coming up,
I said I can't do it, and I need at least 1 week is what I said, but.
But, yeah, you're gonna be with the Katy Racer.
Well, you're getting ready for Denver and Alamosa and all that, so it's gonna have to be, I think, sometime next week. We can move it to Friday, and it gives you 9 days, something like that, 18th of April.
It's Good Friday, sir.
Huh?
It's Good Friday.
Oh, is that Good Friday?
Yes.
That's not a good day. Let's
I
try.
mean, let's try for, the 17th, or the 16th or the 17th a week, and we'll just, it's up, I'm pretty sure we can get reclamation to take the action we need them to take, so we'll try it.
Okay, why don't we try the 17th then, guys, the Thursday? What do you think?
For special meeting and a farmer's meeting, or what?
No, I'm thinking just a farmer's meeting. Are you talking about farmer's meeting now, or are you talking about an allocation meeting?
Well, I'm confused, did you guys, I mean, and
The 17th.
okay, you don't have to make an allocation right now, but if you, it's obviously, there's the discussion that it would be, you could tell the farmers exactly how much they're gonna get and when they're gonna get it if you had another board meeting. So that, you weigh that off. Historically, we've waited later. I think there are some other issues that are outside the purview of the district for the farmers that they might have asked us to wait to make the allocation to a later period. And there's obviously all this other activity that the court sets the date for me, not anybody else, so.
Then what's wrong with us having this meeting and just informing the farmers, we're gonna try and still come up with that number, but it'll be May. But we'll tell them
So
that
it's,
it's gonna be, we're, you know.
the only thing that's changed is that, normally I like to wait till as long as possible because more water's coming in.
Correct.
The only thing that's changed is the river's dying, there's gonna be very little inflow into Elton View. And that's new information that just happened this week. So I leave it up, it's a board decision and it's a judgment call. And I've given you what information I have and it's up to you guys to make the decision whether we allocate next week or we allocate in May.
Would it be safe to compare it to 2013, because you said worse than this? And tell them, hey, this is what, it can't get any worse than this, but it could get better. That way they'll have something to go by, those that have been around that long. Right? What was the?
Well, Jared,
back
how does
then?
how does that fit with Jared's idea? Jared, are you asking that we actually tell farmers some sort of an allocation?
No, I think that idea will work, especially with all the pending litigation that we have the following week that Al has to get ready for and everybody else, and us in general, just something, I think that'll be suffice in that meeting, just.
Say that we think it's gonna be about a foot. Can we say that out? But we're not gonna officially tell you until it's,
Well, like on that falls in there, like you want to gamble on
right.
what we think, or
Well,
your seed, or whatever.
Yeah, we think, and that's gonna be a guess, but the official numbers will give you in May. And that still gives us until May now. But we can still have a farmer's meeting and tell everybody, because they don't hear. I've been telling them all year long.
I'm on Zoom for sure. Right?
Hmm?
On Zoom, they don't get on. The Zoom meeting.
Yeah, 90, we only have one or two people that have had called in with problems, I think just one. But yeah, we could do both is what I recommend, is that for those people that try to get to the most, but we did talk to, I don't know, Lisa's got the total count last time.
40.
So,
40 came in person.
No.
we were gonna do the in-person one, once we had an allocation made, once an allocation was made, because then that's the big meeting, that's the one where we tell them. And you guys, we've done this so many times,
Well,
the adage that we've learned is that whatever you say, they're gonna misinterpret it. It doesn't matter how many times you say that we're not making an allocation. If you
Well-
say 12 inches,
I think this.
within 3 days, the community will think they have 12 inches. So I would say, if it wasn't for external things, we'd go ahead and make the allocation and get it over with. This is new. I wouldn't have been saying that if we had a chance to get more water into the reservoir, but right now, the chance looks really close to zero.
well, to me, that's arguing for a Zoom. Let's do a Zoom and anybody in person, I'm sorry, but we can get the word out there and tell everybody, and we can wait till May to give them the exact numbers. But at the Zoom, we can tell everybody, don't do it unless you got some wells to get to your stuff.
They are, can I make a recommendation?
Huh?
Why couldn't we just ask or tell them that as of today, we can allot X amount of water, but we don't know what the future's gonna bring? But it's that today, we've got X amount of water we
That's
can do.
what,
I like
kind of what
that.
Jared's
Can't
saying.
get worse than
Right.
that.
I think that's.
Well, you don't even wanna use that word a lot, I don't think. We're guessing that you're gonna have about a foot. How's that?
And that's
Don't
what,
go like a lot, but just say.
I mean, to look back up, maybe Enrique remembers that 2013, I think we started off with 6 inches, I believe.
I think that was it, never moved.
Yes, it was 6 inches.
Yeah, I don't even know if we ever got past that, you know, it was
I
45
don't
days.
think so. It was 6 inches.
6
Okay.
inches.
6 inches.
So now there's all sorts of things that, I gotta sit down with Enrique and work it out, because once we go on this rotational method, if we allocate 12, I gotta get around 2 times, 3 times to the small track, and we have to move water around, and the timing's real critical. We'll have 60 days, it looks like, to do that. I've gotta get, when EBID is gonna shut down, they're gonna have less than us. So, I mean, there's a lot of things I've gotta work on between now and then, and then really the board's gonna have to make the calls. What I was proposing was not so much the farmers meeting, but what I was proposing is that the board regroup just to talk about allocations next week. And then, of course, we could pair that after you're done and made the commitment with a meeting. We can do just a farmers meeting alone without it, and it's gonna be doom and gloom. But, you know, like I say, the thing that's changed now is that historically, we would wait till May because there would be more water coming in, so we could allocate more. Right now, I'm telling you, there won't be any more water coming into the reservoir.
Then how about, we could call a special meeting here in about a week? Would that work for you, Al? About,
I think that's the best to do, if you guys wanna deal with it, you know,